Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Hey family, if you don't know who I am, you will know by now. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Y'all know what it's all about, right? The truth and nothing but the truth. And y'all know that I'm about keeping it real, family. I don't feel like I have a reason to lie on nobody. I don't have a reason to play games and all that type of bull junk with nobody. As a born and raised 62-year-old in Baltimore City who used to hustle, who used to sell drugs, who used to do drugs, God turned my life around 31 years ago. And I didn't realize that the mission that I was going to have in my life is to actually go back and help other people. Now, I'm going to tell you, a lot of people do not want us to help our most vulnerable people. And you have so many people like the law enforcement and your politicians that will fight against us as activists and human rights advocates, because the goal is to keep you bound. I try to share with y'all what I see as far as how our local leaders operate, and it's mainly towards the poor people. Because if you live in a more conservative lifestyle, you don't need them as much as the most vulnerable population. My daughter called me, right? My daughter called me, and she told me that this police stopped her, right? And she said he was on the other side of the street. He ran the tags on the truck, and he did a U-turn and came and stopped her, because she said he thought it was me. I don't know what he said to her and all that type of stuff, but she felt like she was being harassed. And she called me. She sent me a text for my insurance information, and I told her the card and everything should be right there in the glove compartment. But what happened, when I got locked up last year, I wasn't able to go and re-register for my sticker. That's all it was, the sticker, yet. Because I can't get out. You know what I mean? Because I'm on home detention. So I can't get out. So anyway, he stopped her. He thought it was me. Thank God he didn't take the car or lock her up. He just told her that the sticker was, expired, and I already know. It's just I can't get up the motor vehicle because I have to schedule everything, and to get there, you know what I mean, being on home monitor. But he eventually let her drive off and everything. But he told her to tell me. I said hi. But she said, Daddy, I felt like he was harassing me. And it must have really terrified her for her to call me and tell me that. Now, I'm going to say this because I know a lot of y'all don't give a hell about what I do. That's not a real good feeling. Because I put my life on the line just to help us, have a better city. You know what I mean? I was one of the people that fought to get the eye in the sky to Baltimore City. The only reason why we did that is because we was trying to slow down the homicide rate amongst our black people. A lot of y'all got offended like we was spying on them or we was doing this, we was doing that. But no, the thing was with me out in the streets, I was educating our young black men to let them know that if y'all keep going around killing each other the way y'all doing, guess what? Nobody got a snitch on you this time. Your behavior is what's going to tell on itself. So the goal was to encourage them to slow it down. To let them know that this is why that plane is up there. But guess what? The powers that be did not want it up there. So I begin to see how it was really set up. And it's been set up for, I can say generation after generation. But it's been set up for decades to wipe out a certain population. Now, I can only speak on behalf of the black community. I can't speak on like the immigrants or the, you know, the Jews and all that type of stuff. I can only speak on what I know that's happening towards the black race. That's why we fight the way we fight with Communities United. Now, I haven't heard nothing lately from Communities United, so what I did, I signed up with the ACLU because I started understanding a lot more about what they do. And it's not just for the black race, just like Communities United, but they have a sturdier platform. Now, I was arrested March the 12th. 17 charges. The police report from what the young man said stated that happened to him do not go with the charges in the police report do not go together. They don't. The judge even said it. He said something ain't right about this. And I'm not trying to be smart, but this officer that did what he did, you did some dumb stuff, bro. And then you turned around. That night I called you to see did y'all find the emergency petition to take this young man to the hospital. I needed his medical information to get him the proper mental help that he needed. And guess what you did? You got rid of the paperwork. This is how Baltimore City Eastern District plays with our people. We talking about a young man who been out on the street since he was, 14, 15. His mother didn't want him in the house. His father didn't want him in his house. His grandfather didn't want him in his house. His aunt didn't want him in her house. So she called me and asked me would I help her nephew. She's like a niece to me, so would I look like hurting her nephew? Almost said your name, officer. Because you trying to use him to say that I did something to him, and that's not in the police report. He never once said I touched him. He never once said I stole anything from him. He said I hit the floor. I called his aunt. Me and his aunt was talking. I was telling her about his behavior and everything. I needed somebody to come up to the house to talk to him. So that day I was around there in both houses. Two guys came up and asked me which house was he in, and I took them in there. Because I figured they was coming to correct whatever. You get me? I didn't expect for nobody to swing on him, so I hit the floor with the sledgehammer, cut this shit up. You get me? I ain't got no reason to lie, and he ain't had no reason to lie. And then what do I look like? I think y'all said his phone's supposed to have been taken. Then to find out, while I was in prison, y'all raided my niece's house. Looking for Van, somebody glasses, shades. These things I got on cost $2. Okay? I don't care for expensive stuff like that. This cost $2. Matter of fact, it was a 3 in the pack that came from Walmart, officer. $175. They are reading glasses. I only wear them to read. Well, anyway, Anyway, you didn't know that his family asked me to help him. Then on top of that, the female, I didn't know you threw another case on that. And that was the detective. And pretty soon I'm going to start calling y'all names. Because you went back to January when me and this young lady was texting each other about the rest of her rent money. And you charged me with second-degree assault, burglary, and harassment from me and this girl texting. That's how we communicated. Detective? So my thing is, if y'all did that to me, I can imagine how many other people y'all done pulled some false charges on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send something over to Baltimore Homicide, and I'm trying to think of the rest of the name, and I'm going to ask them, whoever been falsely accused by these police officers in the Eastern District, please reach out to me. Because guess what? Some people was in jail telling me about y'all. Talking about y'all are the new gun trace task force. The big boy and all that. My son kept asking me, Daddy, why you and this big officer always argue? Because see, you take your badge. I'm not impressed. Let me help you understand. I'm not impressed. I understand that's your job. You take your badge and your pride and your ego get in the way. You are a human being just like me. Let me make that clear. You are a human being just like me. And if you want somebody to respect that badge, you learn to respect the people that you're dealing with. I told y'all I was a community activist. I told y'all I was a human rights advocate. And because I spoke out about things, y'all ain't like it. Y'all ain't like it. My property was not, when I'm dealing with the homeless people, why would I want to sign you up with a rental agreement and all that type of stuff when you're in a program to put your life together? And guess what? If you're not willing to do the necessary work to turn your life around, you can move on. So why would I want to tie you to something? Like a contract. Some people might say, well, that's good if you do. No. Because if you got people that needs to do the work, it's like an alcoholic or a drug addict. If you got people that need to do the work to turn their lives around and they refuse to continue, what else can you do? And if they want to go, I'm not going to hold you hostage. So for some of y'all to say you should have done a contract, why would you want to do a contract with homeless and less fortunate people that's only trying to learn to do the right things all over again? Some of them never had structure in their life. So when you come into my housing program, I do the housing part, so I have to guide you to other people to help you in the areas that you need help with. And I told the Eastern District Police Department, if y'all like, I will sit down and I will talk with y'all to help y'all understand what I do. So we wouldn't kept clashing like that. Like I told your major, and everybody know, them officers wasn't the type that you wanted in the black community like that. They not. Now I was getting this from the people, and they obviously, from the way they was coming at me, helped me to understand y'all are not a good opportunity for them. And I'm talking about helping people turn their lives around. Y'all got a job to protect and serve, but y'all job is to crucify people. And I want to say this. Once I get this thing situated with this court, and I start going to these town hall meetings, and your commissioner in there, Ivan Bates in there, and I show up, I'm going to tell them about this. Every time, because of what happened, the embarrassment, of the Eastern District Police Department. I'm going to put you out. And I'm going to say your names. I was getting ready to call Mackenzie Frost back to let her know I'm back home. I sent her a message when I came home in February. I sent Ivan Bates a message when I came home. A lot of them that know the issues I was going through with the Eastern District Police Department, they didn't know I had got locked up. But I told them once I came home. I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed in y'all. I'm really disappointed in the Eastern District Police Department. As a community activist, as a person that used to live that rugged lifestyle, 62 years old, 61, y'all decided. Now, I've never been locked up. Y'all decided to come up with some charges, 61 years old. And y'all decided to come up with some charges and had me locked up off of false stuff. Then you got people over the prison talking about, OG, what you doing here? And when I tell them what actually happened, they like, damn, bro, they set you up. They hid you because of the way you run off at your mouth. The prisoners knew. Said their goal was to shut you down and hide you. And that's what y'all did. You put me in the system. Sad part about it, my good friend was a warden over there. So they didn't just, they didn't know. Steve Copeland used to have a commitment over there at the Wide Building for about 10 years. They like, huh? Oh, yeah. But y'all want to make me out to be a criminal, a monster? When I used to come in the Wide Building before y'all tore it down, before I had an issue with something else that had me where they took my I give it to say my license back. Not my license, but my badge to get in. All my life, man, I've been trying to help people, my family and all of that. And that's all I do from my own freaking people is get kicked in my tail every time. And y'all proud of that. Y'all proud of that. I speak out against like laws and bills and stuff that they want to create to hurt our people more. And y'all will turn around, man, and consider me as the most hated man in Baltimore City. Consider me as this troublemaker guy in Baltimore City. And I'm only doing what God laid on my spirit. I didn't ask for this. I'm an ordained deacon, right? Either I could stay a deacon the rest of my life, or I can take the next step and become a priest or a pastor. And I said to God some years ago, if it gets to that point that you want me to like go study more, like to theology school and stuff like that to get my pastor's license or something, I'll go. So I don't know what he's doing now. I just know when I came home, he shut me down. I'm telling you what he did to me. He shut my big mouth down for months. I did not come on here talking about certain things. For a moment, I was going to let my Restream go. But right now, I'm streaming to 5 other platforms until I can put another 3 in. So I want to do like overseas and stuff like that, where they have talk shows like this. I want to do I want to add a TV thing on too. But I'm only doing this, y'all, so we can come together. Y'all gotta stop this. y'all gotta stop this. I be explaining to y'all, right? And it's not to make nobody look bad. Brandon Scott, Ivan Bates, our elected officials, they all about laws. So when it comes to the actual footwork that needs to be done, like fighting crime and all that type of stuff, the police department and all of them gonna do it. But it's the community that has to back them up. It's our family members out there. Might not be mine, but I'm just saying, it's our family members out there wreaking havoc on the community. And y'all know what your children out there doing. Your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, your own son and daughters. And they're not just kids. Then you'll come on social media, oh, it don't make no sense. They doing this, they doing that. 3 people got shot the other day, and it don't make no sense. Brandon Scott need to be. He cannot be out there like that. That's one individual. We got nonprofits in the community. Do y'all understand what the nonprofits is for? They supposed to be building up in whatever community they in. It's the people that's supposed to be with the nonprofits to help build up in your own community. How many people y'all have on here sharing this information with y'all? So when you don't know, you don't know. But you got somebody like me that's willing to put his life on the line to share stuff with y'all. And I want whoever that police was that stopped my daughter, if I got your name and your badge on my list to report y'all to Eternal Affairs, then I'm going to do what I got to do. I was already told when my daughter called me, and then my ex-wife said something to me about reporting it to my lawyer. And I sent him the message too. Because I told my lawyer, I said, it's not my clients. They trying to use my clients to say that I insulted my clients or did something to my clients, because that was their way of getting me off the streets. Then you gonna turn around and charge me with 17 charges? And you knew. Man, the detective might didn't know, but you knew that was my housing program. How you gonna charge me with something that a lease is in my name? If that's the case, it ain't no use for me to rent property or anything. It's my property when I'm renting it or leasing it. It belongs to me. It's in my name. When they want their money, they not gonna go to nobody else. They gonna come to me. And the way y'all was able to attack me, because I didn't have a team. I didn't have people in front of me. And I almost said your name again. But that day, officer, you went over to my friend, and it was 3 Hispanics or Mexicans that I had that went with me to help move this lady's stuff out of her office. You went over to them because you thought we was getting ready to put out Drake. And you start laying them out. And I told you don't do that. And I screamed on you. You got in your car and looked like you was about to cry. I apologized to you. But see, you went after people that ain't had nothing to do with nothing. And I know you used Drake. Both of y'all. Because didn't nobody know nothing about me and his sister texting. I got her texts that we text each other before she came into my housing program. And I told my lawyer, I told, what is them other people? Not the ones with Eternal Affairs, but it's something like that. Another program that normally come after the police is for misconduct. I got them on my phone, and I sent them a message to let them know what I was going through. It's not looking good, Ivan Bates. It's not looking good. Brandon Scott. Y'all know I talk, bro. Y'all know I talk. And I don't have to lie on nobody. Y'all know, being a member of Communities United, I was asked to speak out on a lot of stuff. Being a member, just being the person that I am that helps out in the community, I spoke against the school system of her not educating our children. Why it's important to educate our children. We did a protest with the juvenile facility, the school board, the juvenile facility. Then we went down to the police headquarters. Then we went down to housing. I do this with Communities United. Me, Christine, and all of us do this too. That's why I got to the point I started shutting my mouth. Because I knew people ain't like the way I was coming. Y'all sitting up there, oh, he crazy. He need his medication. No, I was caught up in my mother freaking feelings. I'm a human being. And just because you not out there like that, right? And I know it looked at unprofessional because I had to look at myself. I'm like, that ain't look good, Steve. But that's the way I was coming. And I started praying and asking God, right? I don't want to come like that no more, but I don't want to lose me in the midst of, speaking out for us. That's all. I'm trying to stand on something and stand firm. I'm not trying to be one of those that's wishy-washy, straddling the fence. I don't know who you was, officer, but you terrified my daughter. My daughter just brought me my pain medication, and she said, Daddy, did Tashia tell you what happened? Because, see, now y'all stepping across a line that's family. You wouldn't want nobody to do that to you, mother suckers. So guess what? This is what I'm going to do. Because I am going to start reaching out more, and I'm going to share this incident that happened with my daughter. Okay? And then for you to tell her to tell your father hi. Did you think that was intimidating me? No. Only reason why I'm saying that, because you are a human being. That shit don't faze me about your badge. It doesn't faze me that you have a gun. And I'm saying this because that's how other people see it. They don't have no respect for y'all now. And it's not personal. You got to look at the crooked ones that put this stuff in place. We got some great polices, seasoned. And those are the ones I can talk to because they're mostly different from your newer crew. You can tell the season in them that they've been around for a longer time. This is nothing new to me. I worked with Will Hanna up Park Heights, so we had community meetings up there. I used to have with Communities United, every month we would give a community meeting. Who you think hit up the meetings? Who do you think invited people in to sit on the panels to talk about stuff? You looking right at them. You looking at them. The goal still, with all of that, was to help reduce the crime rate in Baltimore City, the homicide rate in Baltimore City, get us out of that number one spot for being the worst city to visit. A lot of people telling me, Steve, back up. Leave it alone, bro. And I'm starting to really understand. I just don't want to turn my back on the inner city community. But if y'all don't step up to the plate, some more years. And I'm just saying, for Baltimore City, we're going to be basically wiping ourselves out. And you doing exactly what they want us to do. Black on black genocide. You doing it. And it's sad. It hurts me. It hurts me. Right now, I got this box on. I'm on home arrest. I can't come out and support a lot of what's going on. I can't because of you know the being on home arrest and everything. That's the way they shut me down. And y'all looking at me like I'm the biggest criminal in Baltimore City. No, we not. The hell I look like 61 years old. Now I'm 62, but wanting to go to prison. When I have a 21-year-old son, a 23-year-old daughter, a 25-year-old daughter that I'm very, very involved in their lives, a 35-year-old daughter, a 16-year-old grandson, a 5-year-old grandson, a 7-month-old granddaughter that I'm very involved in their lives. I got nieces and nephews that I raised that I'm proud of. I did foster care in this process. I did mentoring in this process. The goal is to build a better, helping out the community. But y'all treat me like, because of what I do, like I ain't shit. It's like I ain't shit. It's all about y'all. It's all about y'all. And I just want to say this. I ain't scared of a human being that walked this earth. I am not. And one thing I learned in this process, and I've been shot and I've been stabbed, went through all that. Trying to play gangster and all that stuff. Got shot in my face. And I used to run around and brag and talk about, yeah, I got shot in my face. And I caught the bullet with my teeth and spit it out. It was about an inch away from my spine. And I was bragging about, getting shot. Got stabbed, pulled the knife out, jumped in my car, tried to run them over. Because that was the life. Never realized, right? Never realized God had my back. OD'd a many nights. Got left in the vestibule. They was sitting in the car thinking about what they gonna go home and tell my family, and I came out and knocked on the window. What y'all doing? We thought you was dead. And I'm out, but I'm steady saying in my mind, I'm okay. But I wasn't physically saying it. So do y'all understand why? I sit up there and I reach out towards our homeless and less fortunate people. I reach out there towards our drug addicts. The ones that want the help. Try to encourage them and motivate them. Don't get mad at me. I didn't ask for this. I did not ask for this. So understand the difference. By trade, I'm a truck driver. I became a deacon in 2009. The Holy Spirit hit me one day and said, I need you more out there than in here. So don't get mad with me because I do this. You might not like my approach because it might not be professional to you. But believe me, it's a lot of people that respect what Steve Copeland do and the way he come. And I do want to become more phony for y'all. Like, hello, how are you? Well, see, today on Strengthening the Community, Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Rusty Cooley from the Capture Conversation Show. That's the way y'all want me to come? Negro is, Negro not. So I've been praying. When I start talking again, Lord, I don't want to come disrespecting nobody, okay? But don't come at me any kind of way based on your opinion, because that might get you in trouble if I'm sharing my personal experience compared to your opinion. But now what I'm trying to do is respect it, your opinion, because I don't have all the answers. So if you come up with something or you looking at something and I hear it, I'll be like, oh my God. Because guess what? It's probably better than what I'm looking at. I had a chill just ran through me saying that. Because look, I'm here. And y'all can see the bigger picture. You get me? To the next level. And that's where I'm trying to go. So basically, I have to listen to what you say. Because it's probably going to add on to what God is telling me from you. That's why I've been asking God, to work with me, help open up me more. Because y'all opinion, please don't get it wrong, matters a lot. I can't do this by myself. I can't. I'm 62 years old. This thing is starting to wear me down. So when I start back with the housing program and stuff, I'm going to have a team. I'm not stopping, because God laid on my spirit to rehab and revitalize houses and the multi-purpose centers for our inner city youth. A lot of them don't have nowhere to go to embrace themselves to their talents, like music, singing, art, drawing, theater, dancing, acting. Excuse me. We had that when I was coming up. That's what the School of the Art provides, but a lot of people can't go there. I even got people like Maurice Thomas from New York who has like 7 programs where he worked with youth. He worked with people like, what's his name? Most of our old and new rappers and stuff like that, actors. So he know a lot of people in the business. I asked them to come and help me here. Me and him still stay in touch with him. That's Wendy Williams' cousin. On his show, he got, I think it's Speaking the Truth or something like that, right? But anyway, that's her cousin. I asked him how she doing compared to reading a lot of other stuff. Because you know how they make up stuff on people, make people look worse than what they really are. Because the goal is, we got a lot of talented young people out there that's wasting their lives, getting in trouble. My thing is, I want to talk to them. Because you got to relate to where they at. And I feel like this, being an OG and then coming from a lot of what they're experiencing, like, God, they can sit your butt down. Why you acting like that? It's just the way, sometimes it's just the way you come at them and you make them feel like, you don't want to beat them down, but you want them to feel like, dang, that's love. You want them to make them feel special. They already feeling like trash. That's why they doing what they doing. I started smoking weed at 11. I started drinking at 13. I started snorting cocaine at 14. Then I was snorting it. Then I started shooting it. Do y'all know, when I look back at our children, that young, I'm like, damn, I was just a baby. And do y'all realize how that hurt me? Because it's like I see me again. I see me. That's why I reach out the way I do, because it's like I didn't have nobody but my mother. My mother worked and did what she did, but it felt like I didn't have nobody to let me know where I was wrong at. I didn't have nobody to say, you know what, I love you, man. That's why it hurt me to my heart. Because people will sit back. They went through their own stuff as a child, right? Whether you was raped, molested, abandoned, abused, you went through your own stuff, and now that you grown, and it's like you can't see it. But then you'll look back and say, that don't make no sense. Their parents need to teach them, you know, like respect and all this and that. They do. But once you out in public, look, realize this. When we with our friends, we tend to act like our friends. Just to be part of. Y'all didn't remember that? Y'all don't remember none of that? And I deal with a lot of conservative, closed-minded, ignorant, and I tell you in your face. Only reason why I'm saying I'll tell you in your face, right? Because we human. Just a conversation to let you know you're ignorant bastard. You like, huh? I'm an educated man. I got 5 PhDs and 4 CDs and HIVs and all that. I don't give a freak. You are a human being. They are freaking titles. Suckers. I just say that to be smart. I do. Hey, that's my daughter flying up here. In the truck sounding like a daggone race car. That's why I do what I do, y'all. And that's why I have to move back. Because my heart is into stuff too much. I'm a Pisces. I'm a crybaby. My feelings like this. I'm like, hold up, come back. No. But I accept the fact I'm a crybaby. I'm a loving, caring, kind, considerate person. You don't want to see that ugly dude. That's why, for me, I have to practice self-control and discipline. Because at one point, I ain't give a freak. I raised complete hell at one point. I don't live like that today. And I refuse, officer and detective, the 2 white people that came for me to oppress me. Because I started reading up on y'all behaviors. And me and the police officer would talk when you wasn't on your thing. You told me about your family, I told you about my family. We would talk. Then when that camera came on, you was a totally different person. And y'all told me what you should not have told me. That y'all had to perform a certain way when the cameras are on, or you would lose your job. And I thought y'all was bipolar. I'm like, what the heck? Because y'all wasn't lying. Then you told me this. You said if somebody commit a crime and you don't see it with your own 2 eyes, it was nothing y'all can do. And that's what you came out and said when that young boy bust my nose. And you didn't arrest him. And when his father came the next day to correct him, you turned around and threw that bullcrap on me. He did not say I touched him. Then you turned around, the report you wrote of me being assaulted, I was getting released on March the 14th on home detention and a $25,000 bond, and as I was leaving, they re-arrested me. Oh, that's not in the police report, bro. But guess what? I got the paperwork. Because you turned around and took the report, you dummy, that you wrote of me being assaulted and charged me with 4th-degree assault. No, 4th-degree burglary on my own rental property, and they locked me back up. I'm like, what the heck? And I got out on the 15th. So you think I'm not going to bring all this up? You think I'm not going to call certain people that I've been doing now anyway to talk about this? For what you did? And then this detective lady going to get mad at me? So she decided to go back on January and took a text from me and this girl and charged me with 2nd-degree burglary and harassment. And then you tried to throw it in with this case in March? This the type of work y'all do? Detective? Officer? So if y'all did this to me, I can only imagine what y'all doing to other people. And the case for this month is going to be postponed. I'm going to play right along with y'all. I'm going to give you time, prosecutor, to go out there and find some witnesses that trying to say, because see, you don't realize it's business. You don't realize, and you probably do, the fake police report. Not just the fake police report, you don't realize I was charged with home invasion on a property that I rent. It's my rental property and business. The address is right there. How can I burglarize something that I have a lease on or rental agreement with? How can I burglarize it? It's my house. It's my business. That officer didn't tell you that? Huh, Judge? He didn't tell you that's business? He didn't tell you that his major and his captain know that that was a housing program? He didn't tell you all that. He didn't tell you all that, but y'all gonna find out. And I want y'all to tell me how. I want to know who house that I did a home invasion on. Who was the victim? I want to know. So I can tell you that's my damn rental property and business. You ain't gonna like it, right? Because I said damn rental property and business. Mr. Copley, you can't talk like that in here. Oh, I know I can't. Why you think I got a lawyer? Because I will come. Because I know I'm right. And then you turned around. I almost said your name just now. You played with people that needed mental treatment, needed help, needed to go back on his medication. He was off his meds. Then the other one, I had to get him on meds. But because he was young, all his information his mother had. I needed his insurance information to get him the proper help he needed. The man, the young kid, been out on his own since he was like 14, 15. He became a father. So can you imagine the hell he been through personally? That's why I was trying to get him the mental help that he needed, but you played it. You did not help them either. You mother freaking sucker. And I am going to call your name. Matter of fact, if you look at the information from last year, his name is there. And the detective. So as time go on, I'm going to start calling your name. And y'all stopped my daughter today. You was on the other side of the street, spotted the truck, ran the tags, thought it was me. I thank you for letting her go and not towing my car or whatever, because I got to get that little sticker. I haven't been able to get out the house to get up to motor vehicle to straighten that out. I almost said your name. Because of your bull crap. And then on top of that, over the prison, I'm in an atmosphere that I'm not used to. My feet started swelling. My legs started swelling. The fluid went down to my feet. I'm over there begging the people at the hospital, arguing with these African people to help me. They neglected me. And where that toe was missing at, they had to operate back on my feet again. Then the doctor gonna take some ointment that I was putting on another part of my pinky toe and put it down there where I was healing at. And guess what? That was on a Friday. By Monday, I was back in the hospital, getting the operation on that spot again, because it got infected again. It haven't even been a year yet, and I've been operated on it for the third time and lost my toe. Because I got this monitor on, I got the cord coming around my feet like this, not really paying attention. And I think the heat from the cord put a little bruise on the bottom of my feet. And I called myself trying to take care of it. And it got infected. So I lost my big toe. I'm home on the home monitor. I can't go nowhere unless I get their approval. This time I'm like, freak them. Because I had to go to the hospital. I called 911 because I was falling. I fell like 4 times. I couldn't stand up on this leg no more. You think I'm not going to get some lawyers to help me? Because of what started out and what I experienced because of you creating some bull crap? And I'm real tempted. I almost called over the Eastern District to tell him this Steve Copeland in Utah officer such and such and such. If he got something he want to say to me, say it. Now keep in mind, I understand you are an officer, but I don't see that. I see the human being right now. And if I'm wrong, y'all please tell me, because I'm looking at the person. Your badge don't mean nothing to a lot of us no more. Y'all should be able to tell it from the way people responded to y'all. And I'm telling you, once this is said and done, and I'm going to start going back to town hall meetings where the commissioner going to be, where Ivan Bates and them going to be, where Anthony Brown and them going to be, and I'm going to talk about what y'all did. Because when they try to brag and boast about the work y'all doing, I'm going to tear it down. Watch me. Like I said, and I'll say it again, y'all picked with the wrong Negro. Y'all picked with the wrong Negro. You can say it, white boy. You racist piece of trash. You and the detective. You racist piece of trash. You knew April 11th I was going up for my arraignment. You know, just for that 30-day thing. And you sat up there, put a fake police report from a text me and this young lady had. Dre's sister. Dre asked me when I got the other house to help his sister. So what the heck I look like? This brother in one house, the sister in another house, and I'm going to try to hurt her? Me and this woman talked about her son who got killed, last year. So she going through a lot of stuff. She dealing with bipolar. She dealing with this. She dealing with that. So my goal is to make sure they stay on their medication. Anybody that I know that have those type of issues. So before you come in, you got to do an intake. So I know the type of person I'm dealing with. And I tried to explain that to y'all, police officers, so that y'all can help me help them. You sent me down thinking that I'm going to put them out like that, right? I won't put them out because Christina Flowers told me, and that's a homeless advocate. She told me because they already homeless, you never put them out like that. You either take them down to another place, you know what I mean? Like a shelter or something. Now, in my case, because I know other programs, and they're more stable or more solid than mine, because I'm basically new, I will try to get you put in somewhere else. I'm not going to just kick you out like that. But if I feel like, all this going to occur, I will give you like a 72-hour notice to bye-bye. But I was already told, I'm helping the homeless people. You don't want to turn around and fix it where they homeless again. And I got about 3 more minutes. I'm going to just make this an hour. Don't mess with my family. Because y'all know me. Y'all know the work I do. Like he told my daughter, tell your father I said hi. So I asked my daughter what he looked like. And she got the paperwork in her hand, and I'm going to look on that list. And if he's one of the officers that I was told to report, bro, stop playing. Stop playing. Y'all got hired to protect and serve, not intimidate or harass. And my thing is, and I'm not threatening nobody or nothing like that, but I believe you bleed the same way I do. So why would you want to take your badge and try to intimidate people because of your power and your misuse of authority? And that makes you feel special. What that does to the people that really goal is to protect and serve, you make them look bad. Because now we don't know who to trust. We don't know who to believe in. That's the stuff I tell Brandon Scott and them. It's not actually y'all. It's the people that's beneath y'all that y'all got out here that represents y'all. That's making things look bad. Y'all out there robbing the drug dealers, taking their monies, beating them up, killing some of them too. Ask the gun trace task force. I was getting calls on them about people coming home from prison and didn't make it home. They didn't want that plane. When Ross T. McNutt left here, he left with about 70 homicides. Do y'all know, if you had a family member that was killed during that time, he left. I forgot the year he left, but they let him go. You can get that video. You can get that video of your loved one being killed. Ivan Bates went and got a video from Ross for a guy from 2000, I think, and 16, that the police had messed up. Ivan Bates went and got it. So he got this guy, what is it, exonerated. So I'm telling y'all, Ivan Bates know the plane worked. He know it works. The program worked. They just didn't want it. They let him come. The project. Suppose they've been here for a year. 6 months. They stopped him. I'm telling y'all. I'm not sitting up here just saying stuff to be saying. I can only speak on from my personal experience and the things that I do in the community and the people that I work with to fight to reduce a lot of this stuff. I know a lot of organizations. Baltimore Peace Movement, Erica, Bradford. I want to make sure I said her name right. Big Val, Hugs Don't Shoot, Hug Don't Shoot. I used to screw it up. She was straightening me out. I said, okay. Then Lisa. It's so many positive programs out there, right? That's doing stuff for the black community, but it seems like it's not enough. Damien Cooper with Phenomenal. He works with our black young men. You got, I'm gonna say I Can We Can. You have my guys, We Our Us. Brothers. Well, it's a mix, you know. But the thing is, men walking to the community to try to encourage and motivate other men. Not just that, they providing jobs for them. The ones that wants to go back to school to get their education. Because I came out to find out what is y'all really doing. I know a lot of them there. My goal is strengthening the community. That's my business. And then the community, being a community activist, you know, outreach coordinator, all that type of stuff, that's just where I'm at. So I stand on my business, but I support, basically, I want to say everybody else. And guess what? I don't get the same love that I try to display to other people. It's all about the ego and the pride. I've been trying to get funding. So this time, when I come back, I got the director number of housing, and I got the director number of homeless services, and I will be reaching out to them. The goal is I want to know about some of the voucher programs they have to get more people, homeless people, or just people that's struggling, into a better place. That's all. They just opened up 2 hotels for the homeless people. I would love to be a part of that with my business. I would love to be a part of it. The reason why I'm saying that, because I can see that they actually giving people the proper help that they need. Everybody's not going to go to that hotel. So you still going to have a lot of people sleeping in the woods. You got people running around out of their freaking minds. Bipolar, schizophrenic and stuff, the ones that you see out there acting real crazy. Now, they in a certain state mentally. How is they going to ask you to help them if they're not mentally capable of realizing they need help? So that's why somebody like me, who had the program, will advocate for them. I can do that. Because look, we are considered as lawyers, as an activist, or as a activist advocate. We are considered as lawyers. We're not, professionals in that sense. Like they go and get their, letters and all that, their degree, because that's where my daughter hitting at. But the thing is, I had to understand a little bit of the amendments, their constitutional rights. I just understand enough to make a point. I'm not deep, but when I come, I have to understand where I'm coming from and why. Now, you're more educated when it comes to that, right? So I would rely and depend more on you, and I'll back up. But then if you ask me to speak on certain things, I gotta learn a little bit of what's going on. So I'll do research on certain things. I'm talking about a guy with a 9th grade education who look at life just simple. Try to keep it simple. That's all I do. And I notice a lot of times when I talk or I write certain things, I be, texting and stuff. It's like people can't understand what I say because I'm speaking in layman terms, trying to keep it simple where it will fly right over people's head. Even as a Christian man, you don't hear me quoting scripture. The reason why, because what I understand from scripture, I live it to the best of my human abilities. I take the spiritual principles that I learned from, certain people's trials and tribulations to put, and I'm talking about Bible. I don't see it the way other people do, where they want to quote Matthews, what Matthew said, what Mark said, what John said, what Luke said, what David said, what Solomon said. And it's okay if that's where you at. And you know it verbatim. But you don't actually walk what you truly understand. And that's the difference with Steve Copeland. And that's why when I share certain things, people can't relate because they don't realize I'm sharing an experience with whatever you're quoting. And it will lose you because it's not as the quote. Because if I have experienced what they're saying on a much deeper level, spiritual level, I can only come back from that point. And I will lose you every time because you coming from here and I'm coming from here. I will lose you every time because it won't make sense because you're here and I'm sharing from a personal level of experience. That's why a lot of people don't get it. I'm listening to Pastor Geno Jennings. Not being smart. He's dedicated, he's diehard towards the Bible. I realize that the Bible is their experiences from what they eyewitnessed during the time that's in the New Testament, right? When they walked with Christ. A lot of y'all don't know that Luke wasn't a disciple, apostle. Paul was the one that called him in, not Jesus. He didn't know Jesus. But he wrote about Jesus. A lot of them wrote about what they heard. Some of them wrote about what they seen. And if you a diehard pastor, bishop, don't you dare. Because I'm only sharing from what been revealed to me. And I'm not going to keep biting my tongue. Because when I read Matthews, it says according to Matthews. It doesn't say according to Jesus Christ. When I read Mark, it says according to Mark, according to Luke, according to John. They supposed to be the author or the writer of that book, or that letter, or that manuscript. but we call it, it is divine. It's inspired. The same way God inspired me. The same way the Holy Spirit embraces me to come on here and share what I'm sharing. I can tell you right now, I wish I could say I am sinless or without sin. Because guess what? I am sinless. I don't sin like I used to. So the sinless part, yes. But am I without sin? Heck to the no. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes I want to go and do what I want to do, and I know God. I say, God, please forgive me. Way before I do some things. It's just sometimes my flesh, and I'm being straightforward, honest. And most people will make you think, nah, I don't do this no more. I don't do nothing. Get out my face, because you're a lie. I can say that. I have to tell this no. Y'all can go in scripture all you want and quote whatever you want, but it's my flesh and my spirit is at war with each other. A lot of times, the man have to have control over his flesh. Is that my truck? I can't tell. It might be the other guy's truck. I'm telling you. And that's why when I hear certain people bringing forth the word, you gotta share an experience with it to help people understand how to use it. My bishop do that all the time. I'm listening to people like Geno Jennings, man, he is cutting people down. Then you got Bishop Wooden. And it's like they coming after the saints that's struggling in their own way with sin. That's their struggle. And we not praying for that evilness to be lifted from them. But we rather beat them down, and they already, you can imagine the shame and the guilt, the exposure. But then you got people like Geno Jennings want to attack Jakes. Then he going after Pete Diddy. Pete Diddy might not be a Christian man, so we need to pray for him. All the rest of them that might not be into Christianity or accept Christ as their Lord and their Savior, we have to pray for them. Then you got the ones that's in Christ that's struggling in their flesh. Now, if this man actually, doing the Diddy thing, that ain't something new. That ain't something new. He been struggling, I'm going to say, with homosexuality for the longest time. But you know what I admire about him? He still preached the word. He still put the word forth, even though he got his own personal dilemma that's going on in his life. Now that blows me away, because some people will back up once they, fell short in certain areas and they expose. Now, if T.D. Jakes practiced that stuff, believe me, he been doing that for that ain't something he woke up one day and said, you know what, I want to be with another man. No. And then can you imagine the demon or demons that's steady attacking him in that sexual area? And people like Geno Jennings, y'all know how to rebuke demons, and you're not using your powers, your Holy Ghost powers, to rebuke in the name of Jesus whatever that's attacking this man, whatever that's attacking P. Diddy, whatever that's attacking Jamal Brown. Do you want me to start preaching? But you rather beat him down. That makes you a bigger man to crucify your own brother in Christ. Pret Low Dollar. Go Creflo Dollar. Been in part of my life for 31 years because that's who I first started listening to early on, so I can tell you. I don't care what, I can't judge his personal life because that's his personal struggle. When you talk about Dollar, when you talk about what's Joyce Myers, when you talk about Benny Hinn, when you talk about all these pastors and bishops and ministers that's been preaching and doing this for 30, 40 years, that was God's mission for them. No matter what their struggle in their life is, they didn't turn away from the ministry of putting the message out, even with their own stuff. And that's what I had to learn. I'm an ordained deacon. Now, either I can stay in that position, or the next position is to become a pastor or a priest. So I'm next in line from the bishop, the pastor, the deacon. So the next step is to become a priest or a pastor. I don't really want to though. I'm all right with where I'm at. Because either way, I'm delivering the message. Am I lying? When I sit back and I look at my life right, I look at what Moses went through. I look at what Martin Luther King went through. I look at what Malcolm X and them went through. Because when you standing up for your people and you fighting for their civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights, you become a target. So when I go back to Exodus, when God called Moses, and I see the same things when God called me, to tell our organized religion to set his people free. When I deal with our politicians, to set his people free. And mostly the people that I'm speaking about is your low to moderate income people that needs the system the most. I didn't understand that at one point. But I learned that more when I got locked up last year. When God took me back to Genesis and he took me straight on back up to Revelation. And I started realizing my fighting and my struggles, they went through the same things. Fighting for the word. Some of them went to prison. Some of them got beheaded. Some of them got beat. Some of them got killed. And it helped me to understand that I am walking actually in their footsteps. God showed me that when I was first, I went to, when I was asked to come and speak on the $15 minimum wage, and I'm sitting in the delegate building. I was the last one to go out to speak. And God hit me and said, you walking in the footsteps of two great men. I always say Martin Luther King first, because that's what I was shown. And it's not to put Martin Luther King before Jesus Christ. But God showed me, he said, you walking in the footsteps of two great men. And that was Martin Luther King and Jesus Christ. Now I'm talking about speaking out and doing the work that I do to help our homeless and less fortunate people. I'm their mouthpiece. I didn't understand a lot of that. why I'm doing this, why I'm doing that. But from where I come from, with the drugs, with the alcohol, with the trying to be the biggest drug dealer in Baltimore City, by the time I turned 26, it didn't work. When I was 30 years old, just before I turned 31 in February, when I was 30 years old in January, I screamed out. January the 25th. I was sick and tired. I screamed out to God to please help me. I screamed out. I was guided on the 25th of January to an NA meeting. And they told me to come back and come back clean. So when I came back on the 26th of 1993, January, I have not used a day at a time since then. The desire for the drugs and the alcohol was lifted. I was willing to die with my boots on, y'all. Like a lot of our young men now, thinking that it's pride to be killed or to want to kill. And they're not looking at, if I kill you, I do this, I do that, and I get caught, I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison. Is it really worth it? Is it worth it? Losing your freedom. God, please help me. That's all I had. It's my personal experience to let you know I've been there. I did that. How I was able to come out of it and stay out of it a day at a time. A lot of people don't want me to tell you all that. A lot of people don't want me to show you how you can become a more productive person, even though you in the ghetto. And I realized this too. Black people is not the only race that's suffering and being treated like slaves. They're not. So we'll sit up here and say like you talking to a Jew or you talking to another race, and they will sit back. Now we talking about us. We crying about us. And then they'll turn around and say, well, what about us? This is what we go through. This is what happened with us. And I'm like, what? Because a lot of times we think it's just us. The black race. No. You're looking at people that's in poverty, that's struggling. I can only say that because living a middle class life, I did not depend on once I was able to grow to that. Like the state and the government for help like that. Health insurance, life insurance, was able to put my family on it. Making well over $20 an hour, $25 an hour. 9th grade education. 10 to 12 hours a day. Because I knew how much it took him to live a comfortable life. Make sure all my stuff was paid. Kids had what they wanted. I'm telling you. 9th grade education. My vocabulary is not that extensive. That's why sometimes I might do a paragraph or something, and I'll use AI, the professional part, to clean it up. I do what I do, y'all, because I love y'all. I love me. And because I love me, I want the best for y'all. You know how they hurt me when I sit up there and say I need some help in paying this lawyer? He charged me $7,500. I get SSDI from what I worked for all my life. It's well over $2,000, but then you got to look at the monthly stuff that I have to pay for. So I didn't have it personally to like just knock them out the way. And I ask y'all to help me. Some of y'all got money out the yang yang. I just want to make sure this man get all his money. That's all. Then to find out I got 2 cases that's considered into that one. And I keep forgetting about the other one. You know why? Because when you know you didn't do nothing wrong, even with the first one, when you know you didn't do nothing wrong, it's like I don't think about it. And this is what my lawyer told me too with the girl. He said, I ain't worried about that. But it's the charges that they call themselves putting on me with the young man. Not realizing his aunt is like my niece. His aunt reached out to her uncle to help her nephew, officer. You didn't know? But you will. You will. You will find out too. I paid his phone bill. I got him a job. So why am I turn around and rob him for some goddamn sunglasses or whatever they were? A $2,500 watch my niece was telling me. I think that was on the paper. Most people who fall on hard time, if they got a $2,500 watch, that sucker is pawned. Because they need a little extra money to survive off. So you're gonna raid my niece's house looking for some, Ray-Ban glasses or whatever they was. Some checks. What homeless person write checks? Y'all fucked up big time. Checks? The dumb part about it, the officer did not tell y'all it was a housing program. Then you're gonna turn around while y'all knew I was locked up. Then you gonna raid my niece's house. And after y'all raided my niece's house, tore her house up. And my room, 60-inch TV, y'all turned it over and everything. What that had to do with y'all looking for glasses, checks, and something else on that paperwork. I didn't even receive the paperwork. I don't even have the paperwork for the charges that y'all charged me with for the lady. So it's like y'all just throwing stuff at me. And I can't do nothing but just go along with what y'all doing. And that's how I'm gonna do y'all. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. Because it's stuff y'all created. And I'll tell the judge, I don't know what the heck they doing. I'll tell the prosecutor. Because you going off of some fake, phony bull jump. You know how much I want to text Ivan Bates? Message Ivan Bates? About this? Try not to, because I don't want to put him, even though he signs off on stuff. Okay, David. And guess what? This stuff could have really been let go back then. But it was the detective that created that other stuff that prolonged it. And then when I got arrested on the 29th, I wasn't able to talk to the judge to let him know that I went to my other house. I didn't go to the house that the young man, and the young man wasn't even in my program no more. The young man left on the 15th. He wasn't in the house. See, I ain't have a chance to talk to the judge about none of this. Then I still had to stay away from my housing program. This young man had left. March the 15th, I had another guy in that room that I didn't even have a chance to meet, but somebody called me because he needed a space. Now, guess what? Listen, I'm telling y'all this, right? But I did not have a chance to let the judge know what was actually going on. So when I got locked up for violating the home detention for going within 400 feet, I knew I couldn't go into 1629. That's all I knew. But I went into 1631 because there was a lady in there with her 2 kids that was hiding in there for about a week. And nobody told me, and I got mad with them. Because y'all letting people in here and nobody telling me that they in here and they staying in here. Then when you get sick and tired, you gonna send me a message and say, people in the house and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? So I talked to the young lady and I told the lady, I said, you can't be in there because it's only men in there. She said, you gonna throw me and my kids out? And we've been homeless for a year now. And it touched me. And I said, you know what? Go ahead and stay there. But I was gonna put her in the house next door to me. I had to go to court on around about the 23rd. And that's when I went past the house to see who she was. And I hugged her. And I hugged her 2 kids. And I told the people in the house, y'all better not touch him. And guess what? On the 29th, I got rearrested. And they made sure I did not talk to the judge. I was over the prison and they hid me. Then I started seeing the corruption with the prison system. I'm like, God, why you do this to me? Because you know I'm going to run off at my mouth. I'm over there arguing with the goddamn correction officers for the stuff that I was seeing. Like, why you letting me see this corruption? Because I know you're going to talk about it. I know you're going to talk about how you innocent. And this white police.
I found this on the web.
Wasn't nothing about no Taylor Swift. Lexus came on. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep talking about it. And David, they pulled my daughter up today. My daughter said the police was on the other side of the street, right? And where she was at. Where she said she was on Erman. And they seen my truck. And he ran the tag. Pulled her, did a U-turn, pulled her over. Because he thought it was me. Now, I'm going to get the rest of the information when she come in about what he's. And my sticker, I have to renew it because, you know, I can't go personally up to motor vehicle because of this thing on my leg unless I schedule that with the people, and I don't know. They said I can only go out for certain appointments, so that's why I don't try to do much. But anyway, he told her, he said, I know who your father is, and tell him I said hi. Don't mess with my babies. And she called me scared. She felt like, I don't know what all happened or how they might approach her, that they was harassing her. So I sent it to the lawyer. I was told to send that information to my lawyer. I told my lawyer, I said, you know what? This is business for me. It ain't like I'm some stranger that went to somebody's house and did this and did that. I said, no, this business. Even with them trying to charge me with assault and all of that, I said, no, this is business. That's not what I'm about. And my family asked me not to come on here once I come home. And I was asked, some people in prison told me, Steve, don't jump on your, talk show and talk about it early on. And they told me when I get out in the street and I start walking the streets to, yes. I got one. That's the one I was telling you about that I'm paying off. I sent him the information. And I told my daughter, I said, what is his name? Because she got a paper, right, for him. It was no reason to stop her. But from what she gathered, they thought it was me in there. And they came for it. And then he told my daughter, he said, yeah, I know your father. And tell him I say hi. Now, I don't want to feed too much into it. But my thing is, and I'm telling my daughter, I said, normally I'm in the white truck, the box truck. So I'm not in my green truck as much because she drives it. But I said, them suckers know me. David, they know. What's up, Keith, baby? They know who I am because of this. And I know they over the Eastern District talking about me for what the police and them did with the fake charges and all of that. So I know, they know what they did. They know what they're doing, and I know they over there cracking up and everything. And they following me. I was already told when I start going back out in the streets, don't go by myself to these events, surround myself with people. Because that's why they was able to attack me. And I'm going to tell you, when the judge looked at it, when my lawyer talked with them to get me, back on home monitor, because you can apply over and over. But anyway, he spoke up real highly of me and what I do. I was proud of him. Know why? Because he on my Facebook page. And he told me, he said, Mr. Copeland, you're not the man they're trying to make you out to be. I said, thank you for telling me that. Because I don't have to really explain everything to you because you know about me. And that's what made me feel good. So when I heard him talking to the judge, right, he was like on point about Mr. Copeland. I was proud of him. And I said something, the judge said, Mr. Copeland, you can't talk. I said, I was just proud because he. But anyway, I sent him the message because I don't have everything, but from what I gathered, they was messing with her. So she told me she kind of described them a little bit, but I'm gonna look on because I got a list of them, names that I was told to report to Internal Affairs anyway. I've been talking with the ACLU about them too. I talked to Cummings, Isabel Cummings. She's something like she's not the Attorney General, but she's somewhere along that line, and she wanted me to come to her office to finish telling her about what happened with me with the police. I already talked to Colonel Melvin Russell because he was right there with a lot of the stuff I was going through. I sent Pastor Hathaway a message to let him know what happened to me as well. I sent Mackenzie Frost a message to let her know from the time I told her that they was harassing me that they end up locking me up. So it's not that I'm being smart. It's just that the officer didn't do his homework when it came to me. The officers. Then it's a video of this black young officer came at me one night to try to fight me. And it was another police officer that was holding her back. I went through hell dealing with them, trying to get help with them for my people and stuff, and they made me feel like I was the enemy. And then I end up calling the police on the police. Because this is how they started getting and acting. Like ghetto people. I'm telling you, I end up calling the police on the police. Y'all don't even know some of the hell I went through dealing with the Eastern District Police Department. I even told their major, Keith and David, I told their major, I said, they not the people y'all want dealing with the people in the black community. Cause say they so disconnected. And I'm like, they not the ones. And it's only because of the way they being treated now, as far as tort-wise. And I told them, we arguing, right? And I'm like, look, as a community activist, right, I don't get paid for what I do to try to help out in the community and stuff, turning things around. Y'all get paid. We should not be arguing with each other. We should be, coming together and doing work together to slow a lot of this down. I got videos of all that, of me telling them stuff like that. We should not be fighting with each other, arguing with each other. I'm calling y'all out to help me help them. In the third emergency petition I got, right, on March the 7th, one of the officers said he came around that evening to serve the two guys that I had the emergency petitions on for each one. He said, wouldn't nobody answer the door? So I'm like, well, my name and number was right there on the window. Why you ain't called me? I'm saying to myself. So after that, now I didn't know, he told me, one of the officers, for some reason, the emergency petition came up missing. After the guy went to serve them, the emergency petition all of a sudden disappeared. And one of the supervisors said, we're going to call the commissioner and get them to send a note. I said, the commissioner didn't give it to me. It was the judge. You see how you can't blame them, but how they work together. And when this sergeant seen me, she was like, you the one they talking about. Oh, yeah. Because it wasn't, it was just they didn't like the way I act. And like I tried to explain to them, it's like personal for me, and I come hard. Don't take it personal. So my goal now is to be more humble, not to come so aggressive. one thing I learned too, even though people's in certain positions to do a great job, some of them just not serious about what they doing. They not. They don't give a hell. Excuse my language. And that's what I'm beginning to see. And it's so many sellouts. So many sellouts. And I'm going to say this. Christopher Anderson running for the 7th district on the Republican ticket. Now, mind you, these are the people that I'm supporting, which I know they're not going to win it because they're Republicans and it's Democrats. But I'm supporting them with my business-wise, trying to make them look good. Like we together. They watch basically my videos and watch what I was going through. And none of them came over and supported me. When Christopher told me, he said, yeah, because we was watching it and we was like, he gonna end up going to jail, watch. I said, y'all actually seen? See, like a lot of people not here, but they watching what I'm saying. They not commenting, they not saying them, but you see me. And you leave me by myself. And then you'll sit back, hallelujah, praise the Lord. And he's good and he's great and we know all that. And a lot of y'all know if you've been called or we in the ministry together, we supposed to try to support each other. When you see a brother being dragged down and y'all watch me. When he told me that, I was like, wow. Like, I sat up there, put the handcuffs on myself, and put myself in prison. Yep. And when he told me that, I said, no, y'all didn't. And you going around in the community talking about you want to help people in the community, you want to do this, you want to do that. Once you get in, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Why are you not doing it now? Well, when I get in, this what I promise y'all and this and that. Why are you not out here doing it now? What programs do you have in the inner city? Or business you have in the inner city where you actually working with the people and helping the people, but you don't just have to tell them what you're going to do if you get in. And building hope in them. Just so when you get in, you turn your back. Because I watched it. And I was disappointed. I watched it. It was like 1 minute I see your face, and once they got in position, and I ain't saying no names, I watched them turn their back. I was like, oh my God. It's a game. It's how you play the game. Look at my big baby. I'm gonna reach back out to I gotta wait for my daughter to come in and see what all occurred. Cause I gotta get my sticker. I gotta get that for the truck. Like I said, because by me being on home monitor, I didn't have a chance. I can't go out to certain places the way I want to. But so I have to wait to get stuff done, certain things done. trying to go over here to my messages. Don't switch out on me. The police. This is what I was trying to get to. The police accountability. Right. I sent them some information about what was going on with me, what the police and them did. And hi, thanks for contacting us. We received your message and appreciate you reaching out. Do you have evidence of police misconduct and brutality you would like to share with us? I have basically everything I believe y'all would need. I was told to report them to internal affairs. And this was by other police officers, right? So on March the 12th, 2023, I was arrested. February the 16th, 2024, I was released back on home detention, right? Now, when I first came home, I made a couple of payments on my own home detention box because they ran out of money. So now they got money back in there. So what the lady was saying, the money that I paid for my thing, what they gonna do is like reimburse me, because at that time I was that they got the money back. I had paid, so the state should have took it. Real simple. So now I gotta wait for them to send that paperwork in and straighten all that out. But I'm only sharing this with y'all, man, because it helps me see how the system work and how they treat us. And I'm just amazed at this thing with Donald Trump, you know, having 34 felony convictions, and he's still walking. Don't y'all ever, and we know that no one is above the law. We know that. But look what they doing. Look what they doing. Gave him immunity. Now from what I was reading, they gave him immunity with the documents that they can't press charges against the president. Now, I don't know if them 34 convictions included in there too. I don't know. But y'all are giving this man the right to do whatever the heck he wants. And that's not a good sign. That is not good. Mainly when people looking at him as a dictator, that is not good. Power and money. In the Supreme Court, even if this man committed some of those things before he became president, well, y'all should have got him as a regular civilian. If he committed crimes before that, then side the president thing on the side, right? Him being the president. Because he's not now. And then you charge him like any regular citizen who committed crime. So either way, if you look at it, either way, and I'm sitting over here saying to myself, because some people's like, well, he did this before that with the paper, with the documents and everything. So y'all saying he was right for taking the documents home, which he stole them. And the Supreme Court said it's okay. But I'm sitting home on the box for some fake phony stuff. don't want to throw color in it. But you can't help from looking at it. You can't. So we better wake up. I used to hear people say that a lot, and I thought I was woke. It was like you couldn't tell me nothing, but we better wake up. It ain't Joe Biden. Because what I started understanding in this process, the president himself do not have power over like creating laws, legislations. They can only sign what Congress approved of. The Senate and Congress work together. They send whatever legislation or bill to the president. And say like if it's 400, 1,000 pages, he don't take the time out to read that. He just go off of what they saying and it sound good so he can make the decision to either sign that bill or veto the bill. But then he'll turn around and he will make the world think that he created certain laws and bills. No. It's Congress. And if the president is out of order with certain things, it's the Senate that can actually, what is it called? I'm trying to think, to fire him. Trying to think of that word. But it's the Senate. And I started reading up on some of this stuff, right? Just because I'm not real good with politics. But it's just understanding certain positions with certain, trying to think of the names. Like you have your city council, then you have your delegates, then you have your senators, climbing up the line. So my goal is to read and understand who controls what. Now, if you look it up, it will tell you the president don't have no power in submitting as far as them gonna die. He don't have no power. He'll sign stuff. But that's all. And from that, it'll make it look like these are the things that he created. So now, be honest with you, I had to back up off of that because I'm starting to see where everything actually comes from. So when I listen to Donald Trump talk about certain things he's supposed to have done and he did, and I'm like, no, you didn't. No, you did not. Even down with Joe Biden. No, you didn't. It's Congress. You taking the credit. So I love y'all. I'm off of here. I've been on here for an extra hour, and that wasn't my goal. But I'm disappointed that they stopped my truck, thinking I was in there, because my daughter, she was terrified. And I am going to put something on Twitter. This is on Twitter. My goal is to try to get people like Brandon Scott and them, because my video is right there. You know who I am, and I know y'all see my stuff. I know they see it. Now, when I get the news and everything involved, it's going to be like, why you didn't come to us at first? Yes, I did. So I love y'all, and I'm out.